We'll stay upstairs for another one. Go ahead.
David Poole, Charlotte Observer. Congratulations to all you guys. Ryan, when you come down off of when you're coming down the backstretch and you got Kurt Busch underneath and you got half a lap to go for the Daytona 500, is there a moment when you have to push the thoughts of winning the 500 out of your head to finish the job? I mean, talk about that inner struggle, or do you have time to even think about that? You're so focused on what you're doing.
Well, my dad was spotting for me, and I could hear the tears dripping going down the back straightaway over the radio. So, he was emotional, as he always is, and rightfully so. He's put so much effort into, making me a race car driver and the person that I am, and my mother as well. But to listen to him, and I knew I had a really good push from Kurt, and I knew when Kurt pushed me that, he was locked in. Granted, if we had the opportunity at the start-finish line, I would have raced him just like I'd have raced anybody else. But, he did a great job, and it was just awesome. I mean, I got that tingly feeling. I mean, you only get that in certain things. You know what I mean? I didn't get it there. Just down my back.
I will stay upstairs.
Everybody's toes curl two ways.
Upstairs, go ahead.
Yes, Roger and Ryan, this is John Finneran from the Charlotte Sun in Port Charlotte, Florida. Just want to congratulate you both and ask you, Roger, when did you first realize that Ryan, the talent that Ryan had, and who first gave you the indication that this kid could someday be a good racer for you?
Well, we really had a friend that used to follow the open wheel series that, how people give you a brochure on a young driver. And I'd gotten this brochure, and I went to Don, and I said, look, I think that, this guy has some real opportunity. And I remember staying a couple times and watching him run his car at Nazareth. And, Ryan had the technology background. I mean, he certainly with a family, and his dad were behind it. And we took a chance with him. But, at the end of the day, we've been consistent. He's won a lot of races. We've never got all the way to where we needed to be. But I think that this didn't happen overnight. And the same thing as we brought Sam in here. You just can't go out and, pick the top driver. And as I told Sam, I said, I can't hire Chad Knaus for as a crew chief, so don't count on it. So we got to build. And I think that's what we did. And certainly Roy's relationship with Ryan has been outstanding. And, all the people on the team, and Don Miller, obviously, who was my partner for many, many years, made a huge difference in Ryan's career, over the last several years. So I want to thank him again for all he's done.
We'll come back downstairs for a few questions. Go ahead.
Ryan, Tanya Ganguly, Orlando Sentinel. When did you see your dad first after you got out of the car, and what did he say to you, or what did he do when you saw him?
When I was in Victory Lane, I just finished up the interview, and he just told me he loved me, he was proud of me, and I gave it right back to him. He was extremely emotional. We gave each other a big hug, and he went on to talk to everybody else, but talked to my mom on the phone. She was an absolute mess, and Don Miller and some other people, one of my old Silver Crown car owners actually. So it's amazing. I mean, I'm sure my mailbox is 4 times full now.
We'll go over to this side of the room. Go ahead.
Hampton Stevens, ESPN The Magazine. Congratulations to both gentlemen. Ryan, kind of an unusual question. Do you remember the last time you got a speeding ticket and how fast you were going?
Let me think about this. Yes, I do. I was driving my 1957 T-Bird. I pulled out of my driveway. The speed limit's 45, and it's downhill, and he clocked me at 60. And we're talking like 3/4 of a mile here. And he pulled me over in my 57 T-Bird with my wife, and I rolled down the window, and he came up, and he goes, "Still runs pretty good, huh?" And I said, "Yeah. I mean, what do you say to that?" And he goes back to his car, and he came back, and he gave me a ticket. I wish I knew who he was right now. No, he did. It was one of those deals where it didn't matter.
Question on this side. Go ahead.
Yeah, Dave Rodman for NASCAR.com for Roger. Roger, can you speak to your expectations coming into Speed Weeks versus the reality of 6 Dodgers in the top 8 and your expectations going to California and Vegas for the first 2 intermediate races with this car?
Well, again, we thought we had good test here. We knew we had a lot more power that we could bring to the race, and that's what we did in the reliability. So, this is a horsepower track. I think that Ryan came back, and Kurt and even Sam, and thought we had pretty good cars. We learned a lot. But again, it was execution today, and most important, reliability, which we didn't have last year. Ryan missed a couple of wins because of reliability. But I think as we go forward, this will give our team a lot of momentum. But I can tell you this, we're going to line up with everybody else next week in California. And I don't think because you won the Daytona 500, they give you an extra lap ahead of the field.
Go ahead.
Claire Beeline, XM Satellite Radio. Ryan, a couple of times it looked like you were going to win the race, and then something else would happen, and it would look like someone else was going to win. And talk about the challenges and how you kept your mind focused so that you didn't sort of get frustrated during those points to come back to win.
My car actually wasn't ideal out front. I was on the loose side for most of the runs. The last run we tightened it up and we got it right, and Roy did a great job. And guessing my voice feedback as far as how far to adjust the car. And when I was out front, I was just way loose, and that's why I dropped back there. When I was running third, I fell back to fifth and actually lost the lead draft, just giving it up. I'm like, man, I can't afford to crash it now. We got too good a car. Let's work on it. And I sacrificed third place for running sixth at the time, and it came back around once we got the cautions. And Roy did a great job with the guys in the pits adjusting the car and getting me out. And I was worried when those guys came down, the 20 and the 18, when they cut off, and I was worried that they were going to have better tires, and they did. But we had the track position, and it paid off. They had to really run their cars hard to get back up front.
We'll take two here and then go upstairs and then come back down. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ryan, I know you've talked about this before, but just why did you go to college, and did that help you at all today in any way?
Well, I think my decisions might have been a little bit better, but I've always said that college taught me two things. It was time management and problem solving, and that's the two things that everybody deals with in everyday life. And I think everybody learns that at college if you get your diploma, no matter what you get your diploma in. And I can't sit here and say that I won the Daytona 500 because I'm a vehicle structure engineer, but I'd say it definitely helped.
Question in the back. Guess he's not. We got a question over here. Can we get a microphone to Marty? And then we'll come upstairs.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Ryan, all week long, I'm sure watching TV or reading or whatnot, all anybody talked about was Toyota, Gibbs, Hendrick, Chevrolet. That's all any of us really talked about. Junior.
Yeah.
Do you, having the confidence that you had, you said you felt really good about your car and your team and whatnot, do you just sit back and kind of grin and say, good, I got them where I want them, they're not talking about me, we can do this without any pressure? No. I mean, the pressure doesn't change anything. I've been on both sides of that, and I don't think that it affects the way I drive or the team's performance. But I would definitely say, yeah, you're right. I mean, there was a lot of talk about Toyota. There's a lot of talk about Hendrick and the strengths that they had. And I thought that we were extremely competitive in the Gatorade Duel on Thursday, and had a winning race car, and just didn't get a chance to show it on that last restart. So, we beat. I felt that we were capable of beating half the field. After Thursday, I didn't know what the guys were going to have. I thought the 18 was extremely strong today. He was stout. And I think the 20 gave up a little bit. He played patience and a little cat and rabbit there, and he definitely obviously showed up when he needed to. So, either way, I don't look back after it and say, hey, man, we just beat those guys. It was a team effort on our part to beat everybody, and most importantly, we didn't beat ourselves.
We'll take one here, then come upstairs. Go ahead.
Ryan Al Pierce from Auto Week. It happens occasionally, but not a lot, that a guy wins this race only leading a handful of laps. What were you thinking during most of the night when you were mired back in that 12th to 20th to 30th or whatever? Did you imagine you could do what you did all night long?
In a way, yeah. I mean, I knew that we struggled for grip at the start of the race. We fell back. I think we fell back to like 18th or 19th at one point there, and I watched the scoring pile on to count the laps down, and I knew where I needed to be at a certain time. And fortunately, the way the strategy worked out and the way Roy, called the shots, and the car that we had with the Altel Dodge, we were capable of being in the right place at the right time. So, there was doubt in my mind at the start of the race. But, again, going back to what I felt on Thursday, I knew the car was capable of beating at least half of them. So just keep working with it, and we did.
Let's go upstairs.